What's going on, people?
Hey, what's happening?
I'm trying to check the Facebook stream. Seemed like it was moving a little, like way behind.
What's up, Mike?
Mike, what's going on, man?
Michael, Miguel.
Good evening. Good evening. Is that cuz or cuz?
That's shocking.
Cuz.
Yeah. Nah, it was more than a 10 to 15 second delay a second ago, but it jumped right. Everything cool with it now. My little stand here, I gotta fix it. How everybody feeling?
Good. I'm good. Getting over a little. I had lost my voice earlier this week, but it's finally coming back.
Hold on 1 second. Nicole, I know you usually have a long week. Go ahead, tell your week. I'll be back in 1 second.
I ain't even gonna get all the way into it, but thank God I'm off tonight, tomorrow. The last 2 days was just,
This your week?
yeah, I'm off Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I just don't like feeling thrown into situations, right? And then not knowing what's going on. It's one thing saying, hey, this is what's happening, boom, 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 get in there and handle it. But to not know what's going on and then be thrown in there and then they looking at you like, are you training? And it's like, bitch, no, I'm not. But I don't know what y'all just bum rushing my floor just coming up here. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it was just, and it makes me feel incompetent. You know what I'm saying? And I do not like feeling incompetent, or nobody looking at me, like wanted to, is she training? And I looked at her and I said, no, I'm not an octopus. I can only do one thing at a time. And I think she was a supervisor. And she just kind of, yeah, ma'am. But we had a situation. I don't want to go all the way into it, but I'm gonna just say one thing. We had a non-compliant, and first of all, this dude had surgery on one leg, couldn't really move, and the doctor, we was on the medical floor, right? That's where I was assigned. It was like, do not put the wheelchair and the walker in there with him because he's combative, he's non-compliant. They still put it in there with him. So this dude, even though he got one leg, he picking up the wheelchair, throwing it against the window, because in the medical, it's not just a little room. They get actually big rooms, so you can look in there and check on them, right? Throwing the wheelchair. Then he lay down, get his walker, banging all night. And I got stuck at work. So I worked 2 shifts, right? I got stuck. My shift overnight. So I didn't leave till this morning, about 7:30 or somewhere in there. And so when I called supervisors, hey, This dude is doing blah, 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 blah. They like, say less. So they come up there 3D. We like, okay, yes, come take this shit up out this cell. So they get in there. This dude, even though he got one good leg and he's in the bed, right? But he laying in the bed with the walker, banging the window. When they come in and they try to grab it, he done hooked his arms around it. And this mark is strong, right? They cannot get this walker from him. So the lieutenant like, Applewhite, come hold this right here. So now I'm holding it. They three trying to pry his arm. So while they pry it, now I get to yank it, right? So I yank it back. They like, okay, cool. I'm like, the wheelchair. They grab the wheelchair. They like, okay. He like, I'm gonna just use my hands. So, he just acting out. They leave like he'll get tired, which he did because the little bangs started getting kind of shallow. Boo, boo. You know what I'm saying? And so I look up and look at this mark. Why he hold up some keys smiling? He done took one of their keys and start flushing them one by one down the toilet.
Yeah. And shit like that happened? Did the officer get in trouble?
No, because when they were tussling with him trying to get him, he knew exactly who it was. So I'm not gonna say no names. He just said, "Tell such and such I got his car keys."
Oh, these wasn't even work keys.
Right.
These wasn't like keys to the job. These personal keys he took.
That's crazy.
So I called them like, listen. So they came back up. They like, you go assist the nurse. We got this.
Damn.
I just wanted to sit on his fucking leg. I just wanted to sit on his leg. But they supposedly got the keys. But they didn't get them all. Because right before I was getting ready to leave, he's like, I got some handcuff keys. And he carved in the so I go walk over there. He done carved in the window the name of the person. Blah, blah, blah. Let's play a game. I have 3 of your keys. And just then carved into the window. And I'm like, I hate you right now, for real. So I let them know. We passed it on, but that's how my night was, the whole night. Everybody on that floor wanted to whoop his ass because he was whooping everybody else.
They ain't whoop his ass when they went. When they sent you to the nurse, they ain't do enough to him. Because you come back, he still got the keys playing around. Let that have been Cook County. I guarantee he gave up all them keys.
I was just like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, I'm just ready to go.
Well, how was your week, Jay?
A lot smoother than that. I still got all my keys. Back to business as usual. Adjusting to being back at work. I was on paternity leave for like a month, so just adjusting to getting back to work. So that's pretty much it. Other than that, it's cool. I came back to a shit ton of emails, but I'm good.
Oh, you back at work now?
Not yet, Kurt. We're going to address that today. I hope he ain't put him in his jail pocket.
He ain't had no jail pocket. Ain't no pocket.
Yeah, he got a jail pocket.
Yeah, he got a jail pocket.
Oh. I'm slow a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely got a jail pocket. Yeah. We are going to address Kyrie. We just getting in, Kurt. So we letting everybody, get a chance to come in, see how everybody doing, speak to everybody, getting caught up on everybody's last couple of days. Nicole was telling us about her week at work. She works for the. Is it still called the county down there?
Yes, the county. One of
the counties. She works for the county down there, so she was letting us know how they did. Jay was telling us that everything is smooth in his household. He still got all his keys and nobody flushing down the toilet. My week was I lost my last playoff game, so we out of the playoff run. Disappointed. More so disappointed in me as a coach. I think it was more so my fault we lost at the end. I didn't pay attention as I should have as a coach, and didn't make adjustments that I should have made. So other than that, the kids did a good job this year. So, we got one last thing. All our teams are out of the playoffs. We got cheerleading competition this weekend, so no more popcorn. We always can do popcorn.
Yeah, give a damn about y'all lost. Well, what about the popcorn? Damn.
Anybody?
Hell no. Yeah, fuck the kids.
Yeah,
What about
so
the
that,
popcorn?
no, we still got popcorn coming, but it'll be more so of next year with that running forward. But we got cheerleading competition, which is this Sunday. It's our first year back at cheerleading, so when our competition, we got 2 teams competing, and really that's about it. But I won't be at the cheerleading competition. I have some other or my AD and vice president, they're gonna stand in for me because it's a real nigga holiday this weekend on the 13th. So we got plans. We actually gonna go out and hang out. So me, Jay, a couple of other cousins, my little brother, we all gonna be hanging out. So maybe we should get a GoPro and film the whole thing.
We need a couple of them. Shit.
We'll talk about that off air. So, but with that going in, yes, Kurt, we were going to address Kyrie. For everybody who does not know, I think we talked about it a little bit last week with Kyrie. Now, I think the big issue is the movie within itself. I have yet to see the movie. The movie, for you who don't know, is called From Hebrews to Negroes, or Negroes to Hebrews. What's it?
From Hebrews to Negroes, I think it is.
I think it's called From Hebrews to Negroes.
Actually, we got our fact checker back, so Mr.
Yeah,
so can you please let us know?
That's the movie. It's called From Hebrews to Negroes. It supposedly is an anti-Semitic movie. I have not watched it. Only thing I get from it, only information I get is what everybody is putting out about it. You know what I'm saying? What they say it is. I've had a couple people who have watched it who told me that most of the things that are being put in the media are not being said in the movie. Then I got some people who say that it is. I mean, most everybody is the one thing they go to is what is said about the Holocaust in the picture, where it's saying that there were Jews who were basically doing things to other Jews. Basically, that's what
my understanding was that it was one of the inaccuracies, I guess, in the movie was that the Holocaust was created by white Jewish people,
which is possible.
I won't say I don't know.
Well, I'm saying it's possible for it to be created by white Jewish people because of the fact when we speak like that, Jewish is not an ethnicity; it's a religion. You know, so
okay. So we had this conversation before, and if I'm not mistaken, somebody was trying to explain to us that it's both.
Yeah, I just don't believe that.
I cannot remember. Obviously, it does. It's really null and void, I guess, at this point, because I can't remember what the argument was. But there is some, I guess, credence to why people would, not why people would, but why it's considered an ethnicity.
Yeah, it's not. You can renounce your Judaism. You can't renounce your blackness. You can't renounce being Caucasian. You can't renounce being Asian.
So, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is what from my understanding, in order to be, I don't know, there's partial ignorance in this. From my understanding, you have to come from a Jewish woman to be considered Jewish, correct? So
Correct.
If your mother is not Jewish, then you aren't. Is
correct.
That correct?
Yes.
Is that where the ethnicity part comes from? Because what is it?
Because they believe it's ethnicity. I was in a band with a guy and we had a conversation about it, and he talked about how hey, I'm Jewish and my people and blah blah blah, and it's where we're from. So a lot of them look at it as, if we say we're black, they're Jewish. So it's not a religion.
So it is Muslim an ethnicity?
Well, they don't look at it as the same as Jewish and Muslim. Are most Jewish people Muslim?
No. I'm asking because Muslim.
No, that's a question. Aren't Jewish people? Don't they practice?
Well, the thing
Muslim,
about the thing,
right?
this is the thing. The Semite which is what Jewish people are relating to being Semite. That comes from, I think it's what, the 4 tribes of Africa. Is it the 4 tribes?
Mm-hmm.
And but just about everybody comes from that. There are 3 ethnicities. There's Black or African,
Black,
whatever you want to
white,
call it.
and Hispanic.
Asian. Not
Asian.
Hispanic. Asian. Those are your 3 ethnicities. Everything comes from there. You know what I'm saying? So now when you start branching off, Jewish is a religion. Judaism is a religion. If you go
but it's some Black Asians.
It is. There are Black Asians. There Black Cubans. I mean, but that because it all started. The cradle of life is in Africa. So it was what does it say? Muslims are considered Asian. The Middle East is Asian. They're considered Asian because there are only 3 ethnicities. Yeah. So that, I mean, now what a person what was they say when what they want? I don't want to say what they want to call themselves. What they identify as. You know what I'm saying? That's like
Totally different. Yeah.
it's totally different thing. But like you can't walk into a house. You like a Muslim person can't walk. Not a Muslim. A Jewish person can walk into a room and you don't know that they're Jewish because they just walked in. You know what I'm saying? An Asian person gonna come in, you're gonna know this is an Asian person. You're gonna know it's a Caucasian person. You're gonna know it's a black person, African or whatever we want to say.
A lot of times you can tell a Jewish person.
How?
Because of how they look. Maybe because I've done a lot of bar mitzvahs. I'm just saying, just like
because they got on the yarmulke. Because
no, I'm just talking about features. Just like when you see a light-skinned Black person that might be mixed, sometimes you can look at them and tell, oh, they are Black. Or because of features. Maybe because I've done a whole hundreds of bar mitzvahs. And like I said, I was in a band with a guy who was like, I'm Jewish, and he looks like them. Everybody that does a bar, they don't look white. They're not just like, oh, they're white and they just practice Jewish or whatever.
So you actually believe? So you actually believe Italian is an ethnicity? Because people who consider themselves Italian, they have certain features. But guess what? An Italian can be mistaken for a person that you are considering Jewish. They have similar features.
I don't know. It just looks different to me. I thought Italian was wasn't Italian in the Hispanic realm or something?
Spaniard, yes.
Yeah, so that's different.
Different than what?
Because they're Spaniards. So I don't think that's an ethnicity, but Jewish people, I don't think being Italian is an ethnicity, because I know that they're Spaniards. I know that they come from a certain ethnicity. Jewish people.
Yeah, you see, Mike, you talking about Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll, instead of arguing the ethnicity, we had to get back on track with this. So now we were leading up to Kyrie. How did we even get the ethnicity? What were we trying to say?
We were talking about whether or not Jews were Jewish people, because Jews.
Oh, we were talking about the movie. We were talking about the movie.
We was talking about how Jewish people, how it's considered an ethnicity and a religion. We went from the movie to how it's that right there.
Right. So we need to get back toward the movie, because what we wanted to really kind of get to is I don't want to say the treatment of Kyrie on in this particular situation.
It's definitely the treatment of him.
Huh?
It's definitely the treatment of him. It's the treatment of him. It's the unresponsiveness from our community to, as a whole, to speak out. You have your select few that's, I guess, not afraid to speak out about what's going on and in defense of Kyrie. But at some point, I think Nick Cannon put it best. What they doing to him, I called it a lynching, but it's really, like he said, it's bug breaking, right? We're gonna show you, oh, you gonna rile up against us, you gonna run away. Okay, I'm gonna put you out in front of everybody and I'm gonna humiliate you. I'm gonna take everything that I gave you away from you.
So you believe the same thing with Kanye then, right?
I think it's a little different.
Why?
Because of the fact Kanye is more so seeking the attention on this here. With Kyrie, he's not really.
But do it matter? Really, If it's
Hmm?
they're
Yeah,
saying the same
oh,
thing, even if
dang.
he's seeking attention, if he's speaking the same thing, regardless of his reasons for speaking it, he's still being everything is trying to be stripped from him. The only thing is he's not apologizing like they're forcing Kyrie to do.
I think the
And he apologized.
he
He
definitely,
did.
yeah, he definitely
Yes.
apologized.
What
I
did he
think
say?
He said he came out and talking about how he was sorry that he hurt the Jewish community's feelings. He apologized to the Jewish community, and he kind of just did this to the black people.
he
I guess.
apologized to the Jewish community, did not apologize to the black community. There was outrage in the black community, within the black community. Then he gave us a half-ass apology.
I mean, for what? What he do to the black community?
With the George Floyd comments and the White Lives Matter shirt.
We
Okay.
talked about this last week.
I still don't. I guess I still didn't understand what he did to the black community.
I think it's the fact that he just was not in that moment. It didn't in that moment, and obviously his past his track record shows that in times of need, Kanye kind of puts his fist up and act like he with us. But when the chips are up and it's in his favor, he kind of like shits on us. So I think that's really where that came from. I don't think it was specifically about that moment. I think that moment just added to it. It was more like
but people say that, Jay. How did he? When has he shitted on us?
I think it's people have perceived things that he says. People will always point back to when he said slavery was a choice.
Yeah, but everybody know that everybody want to take stuff literal when they want to, because I think people love to hate Kanye. And yeah,
I think it's more so the actions than what it is that he's saying when they say he shitted on the black community. I think it's more so instead of saying shit, he kind of like he turns his back on the black community in the public when things are going good for him. When things are going good for him, like because I don't think he ever stops supporting things that are going on in the black community because he does that quietly. But I think in the public he does things like the entire black community had it, not the entire, but the majority of the black community had issues with Donald Trump. He made it his business to go out and let you know that he supports Donald Trump.
But what he say? You can't make changes unless you talk to them. How are we gonna have changes if we don't have a relationship with them?
Some of this stuff was more than just trying to have a relationship. I mean, like
because when he went to the black people and when he went to just the same with Ice Cube, right?
Hmm?
The same with Ice Cube. What Ice Cube say when he wanted to sit down with them, and Biden was like, "Oh yeah, we'll get to you, yeah." But Trump people was like, "Yes, let's talk."
Yeah, but he also said, in fact, he knew that was a factor. They talked to him because it was around the time for voting, and to make it seem like that they were open to it, because neither one of them did anything with what Q brought in it.
You know, and that's my whole point.
That was politics.
People be wanting us.
The difference is when Q went to see him, he didn't go to see him where it was trying to make it
a spectacle.
And when Kanye went to see him, it was more so a spectacle. He wanted to, I love this man. This man is like my best. It was more of a spectacle. It was like he was slapping you in the face because I know y'all don't like him. I'm gonna go a little bit extra with how I care for him. I'm gonna let y'all know that I support him. I'm on his team. Like I'm gonna wear the MAGA hat. I'm gonna put a White Lives shirt matter on. I'm gonna do a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna say a lot of things. Well, not a lot of things, because he wasn't saying a lot in the media. The biggest thing was the slavery was a choice. You know what I'm saying? And then how he just aligned himself.
The MAGA hat.
The MAGA hat, the White Lives, but how he aligned himself with, at that point, who you could say, for all intents and purposes, was against in the media, the person who was against black.
I guess. Maybe I feel the way I feel is because, like you said, he still support black stuff. I personally have, and maybe I don't follow him enough. I have not seen him shit on black people. Yes, he was a Trump supporter. That's his business. Okay, people have their own reasoning.
I think also you got to realize, Nicole, is you yourself, kind of like me, you don't really follow politics, so you don't have an issue with Trump or anybody who supports him, because your thing is, okay, what did he do bad? Guess what? He like any other president. This shit changed on my end. So what made him so bad? He say some stupid stuff up there, but oh well.
I just don't see him like a Candace Owens. I actually see her and feel like you don't want to be black sometimes. The way she speaks, it just makes me feel like she wish she wasn't black. I don't get that from Kanye.
Mm,
I
Like I said, maybe I don't watch enough. Maybe he does something else.
I don't want spend too much time on especially when Kyrie the one that's got his feet to the fire at this point.
right. So back to Kyrie now. Now, my thing about this is, do we believe that there was anything he needed to apologize for?
No,
First off,
no, no, and I think that's where the biggest issue should have come from. When they initially questioned him about the post that he made, he was definitely a little bit standoffish, and I can understand how some people that could rub people the wrong way. When they asked him to apologize, the very next meeting, the very next time he had an interview with the press, he said, "I cannot be anti-Semitic because I know where I'm from." That in itself should have been enough of an apology. The problem is they want to control the verbiage. They want you to be able. They want to be able to say. They want to be able to say, "I made you do this. You had to apologize. You have to say, I'm sorry. You have to apologize." And I think that shit is weird, man. Like
okay.
in
Kurt
that
said he
moment,
Kurt said he watched the entire movie. It was not anti-Semitic. I haven't watched any of it because at this point, I just don't want to give Amazon too much more money, because the thing is, my whole thing is, we punishing Kyrie for supporting or putting a clip out, but not a clip, putting a link out for this movie, and it's on Amazon's platform, but we're not. There's no outrage against Amazon for having the movie out. You know what I'm saying? There's no Amazon, no outrage for the people who made the movie, and there's no outrage that the price of the movie has went up now, so that Amazon makes more money off of it. You know what I'm saying? That because everybody wants to go see it now because of the fact to see, is this movie anti-Semitic? What is it that we are so upset about with Kyrie about? And I do want to see it. What did you say, Kurt? Where what? Every point made in that movie was citing source reference.
I think he responded to the disagreement.
Okay. So it was anti-Semitic. Okay. So we got somebody saying it was anti. Like I say, I think most people fall back on the fact of saying that whatever they said about the Holocaust. That's the only thing I ever hear when people say that it was anti-Semitic or had hate speech. Then I say, well, what was in it? And then they say, oh, well, they said the Holocaust was like done by Jews or whatever they was trying to state about it. So,
if my understanding is correct, it was speaking to the original, the Israelite Jew, the Israelite being the original Jew, correct?
Correct.
And that would be black people, which by definition would not be considered anti-Semitic, which also lends to what Kyrie said when he was standing at the podium. I know my heritage. I know where I'm from. I cannot be anti-Semitic.
Okay.
I think the problem is the fact that most people that disagree with the Israelites being the original Jews consider that to be anti-Semitic.
I think that's where it is. The issue is.
Yeah, but do you think like Rachel Dolezal is being anti-black because she claims she's black? Is that anti-black?
The documentary lacked research and was emotion-based, in my opinion.
Kurt says every point in the movie was citing source referenced.
The movie called The Holocaust a Myth. Now, this is what's going to have to happen. Now, based off of this, I'm going to have to watch it now. I'm going to have to watch it to come back and speak on this, on that part of it. Not all of it was citing sources, what Durance is saying. We haven't seen it. So now let's go back. So, okay, but when I saw things that was triggering for the Jewish community was from a book a Jewish person wrote. So, okay. Now,
okay, so why can't black people? I'm sorry, I was responding to Michael. He said that's just blackface. Wrote Rachel Dolezal, right? Saying that she's black, that's blackface. So if blacks thinking they're the original Jewish, is that Jewish face?
What?
You don't understand what I'm saying.
I understand where you're going, but you weaving that web, ain't you?
I'm just trying to understand how saying blacks are Jewish is anti-Semitic. Semitic, whatever.
I think what it is because the most of the argument is it goes back to the fact of Jewish thing, Jews, Jewish people, Judaism, whatever it is, saying that they are a race. And so basically trying to say that you can't just adopt their race, because now if you want to say that I'm an Israelite, I'm the original Jew, that takes away from the fact of you saying that now Jew, people who consider
also, before you keep going, Jew is considered a derogatory term. So
it is. And that's why I keep trying to figure out the right one, like saying Jewish, or if I should say Judaism or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? But saying, okay, so for those who consider Jewish as a race in itself, and you can't just adopt a race. I can't just walk in there and say, like, I can't just walk in the morning and say I'm Caucasian.
That's my whole point. I understand that. That's the same with Rachel Dolezal saying she black. You can't just wake up and say I'm black.
But what I'm saying is the reason that they try to say that, I guess, that you would be anti-Semitic is because now you're taking away from Jewish being a race. If I come and say I'm an Israelite, the Israelite is the original Jewish man. We are the original Jews from God. We are God's people. We're the original Jews. We are the ones who God is going to bring back. However that goes, I'm saying that takes away from the fact of saying that Jewish is a race.
So basically, by you saying at the beginning, Jewish is not a race, that's anti-Semitic.
Yes. And some people, I think they would take that as anti-Semitic. If you know, Whoopi Goldberg basically was on the same thing. That's what happened with Whoopi Goldberg that day on The View, because she said that it was white people because they had an issue with her in the Holocaust. She didn't say the Holocaust never happened. Yep. She said the Holocaust was humans against humans. Those are white people who hurt white people, because Jewish is a religion, not a race. And that's what they were upset with her about. Because she didn't say the Holocaust didn't exist. She said that was just white people doing bad things to white people. You can't compare it to slavery, is what she was saying, because that was a race of people doing something to another race of people. The Holocaust is white people doing something to white people. That was humans being inhumane to humans, because Jewish is not a race, it's a religion. She converted to Judaism herself. She was able to.
But that's the religion that they practice. Judaism, right? She didn't convert to being a Jewish person. She converted to the religion that they practice.
No. When you go over to Judaism, you are considered Jewish.
But did she convert? I didn't know she converted.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's why she took the name Goldberg and all that.
Well, I thought she did that. That was all just like a Hollywood thing. Like Jamie Foxx changed to Eric, whatever his last name is, changed
Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, changes that. Nah, that's the wrestler, nigga. It's Eric. Whatever.
I read why she said that. She didn't say when she said why she chose that name. Nothing about her converting.
Yeah, she changed her name to Goldberg because
she did a good job.
Right.
But she converted to Judaism.
But that don't make her Jewish, though.
The book was supposed to make her someone that practiced Judaism. Who wrote it died.
Well, I mean, could you say that
if I narrative by a false author for Nas? What?
No, Goldberg ain't her real. Nah, Goldberg ain't her real last. I don't think her first real name.
Her first name not Whoopi either.
Yeah,
no. Yeah. Oh, supposedly wrote 18 months after.
I don't know what I couldn't understand that either. I was trying to read that, but it doesn't make sense.
The book was supposedly wrote.
That's her name.
Whoopi's supposedly wrote 18 months after the person who supposedly wrote it died. So basically saying that they saying it's the wrong author. They saying he was saying it was written 18 months after the author they're trying to say wrote it had died. So it's a false narrative, blah blah blah. Because they're trying to say that the book was written by a Jewish person, but they're trying to say now he's saying that 18 months after whoever that person was died is when they're saying the book was written. Whatever.
Ain't that funny? She do not look like no Karen Johnson, do she?
No. So now let's go back to Kyrie.
A Jewish woman and her maiden name was Karen.
Let's go back to the treatment of Kyrie. Okay, we get back over here. So we don't think that the first point is we don't think there's anything he needs to apologize for. Correct.
I think that, so we go back to what I said, right? And I always say this damn near every week, intention doesn't matter. So if you hurt somebody's feelings, regardless of whether or not it was your intention, if they let you know that they felt the way about it, I do believe that you should at least extend an explanation of what your reasoning was behind that. I don't necessarily know that that means an apology, but I do think that you would. I think it's human decency to at least explain what your intentions were. And I don't know if that is considered an apology or not. If it is, then yes. But I don't. I don't think in this instance he did anything, or I don't think in this instance he did not satisfy that, I guess, want or need. I think that the problem was the way that he did it was not sufficient for the powers that be, I guess, for lack of better terms.
And so I mean, knowing the answer to this, even though asking it, why is it different the way that he should apologize as for okay, so let's I know we ain't supposed to compare apples to oranges, you know what I'm saying, and we deal with each situation as it comes. But let's take everybody's favorite redneck, Brett Favre. Has he apologized for taking that money yet?
Who?
Not publicly. If he
Brett
has,
Favre.
it hasn't been made a big spectacle. I know that he did have to pay back a million. I know he got like $5 million, and I think he got like a 1.1 million or something like that in incentives to do promotions for it or whatever the case may be, and he paid that money back. But I don't recall seeing anything about an apology. And quite frankly, he kind of standing on the hill that he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, but they got the emails or the voicemail of one saying, "Hey, can this be traced back to me from him?"
Yeah, true.
So I mean, my reasoning for asking that is the fact, like Kurt says, Kurt thinks that he owes an apology. That if it's a group is offended due to his platform, but nothing more beyond that.
I don't agree that it's. I don't agree, but I don't disagree. Right? I don't necessarily know that it's an apology. I think that there's an explanation, and I don't even necessarily say. I think. Well, I will say yes. You do owe an explanation, at least to what your intentions were. You don't. I don't necessarily believe. I only feel like you should apologize for something if it's something that you see wrong in. Right? If you realize I've done wrong, because that's the only time one is going to be genuine. If you realize the fault in whatever it is that you've done. And two, if you explain what your intentions were, maybe it's just a big misunderstanding. If you understand that my intention were never to be, malicious or whatever the case may be, I think that you have a better understanding of whatever the root cause of the issue was.
And I'm also with Arthur Durancier there. I think their feelings can be acknowledged, but I don't think an apology is warranted. And it says if you weren't, even if you were trying to be malicious about it, because if you don't feel sorry for what it is you did, or if you know what I'm saying, if you don't think you did anything wrong in that sense, I don't think an apology is what's warranted in it with this fact. And in this situation, I think we're putting too much, we're giving too much credit, or we're putting him too much on a pedestal for an athlete to put his opinion out there about something. And now, just because some people's feelings are hurt over it, he's held accountable for everything that's going on around this. And it's basically like he's held accountable for the movie like he created it. Like he had something to do with the production, you know what I'm saying? Like he financed and things and that.
I think, okay, so but I mean, like, and obviously my role, let's play devil's advocate. If our favorite redneck was promoting a movie that was anti-black or had anti-black themes in it, would we want an apology? It doesn't matter
as a community or as a person.
As a community, not obviously, individually.
Yeah,
some wouldn't care.
Some would.
As a community as a whole, would we then still feel like your feelings can be acknowledged? And then and don't get me wrong, because I'm on the same boat. I don't feel like an apology is the verbiage. I feel like an explanation of what your intent was. I don't know that an apology is necessary, but an explanation of what your intent was, I think, is what is owed at that point. And that is also true that they are openly disciplining him in front of us, which is, and this is honestly, this is beyond discipline. This to me is really just really kind of making a mockery of his manhood, really, because they're basically telling you got to shuck and jive to get your job back. Yeah, he offered to give $500,000 initially. He offered to give $500,000. They denied or rejected his donation. Now they're telling him in the list of, I believe it's 5 or 6 things that he has. He got to take sensitivity training.
We got the list. Put the list up there, producer. We got the list. What he got? I know it's 16, 6 bullet points on this list.
Sensitivity training. He got to donate to the. First of all, why is the ADL the end all be all?
The who?
Anti-Defamation League. Why are they the end all be all?
And they only are up in arms about Jewish community being defended. They ain't came to no black people defense about nothing.
It was founded specifically for Jewish people. I read up on it after our show last week. It was founded specifically for Jewish people.
So we got to create our own then.
We talked about that last week.
I got a question. What the hell my producer doing?
I think it's coming up.
He's trying to pull some up.
He's supposed to be putting up the list.
Can we zoom in a little bit?
Zoom in on it. We can't see that.
I don't think we can.
You can't go up in the top. Yeah.
Okay,
there we go.
So apologize.
Give me some more. There we go.
So he has to apologize and condemn the film that he
That's
promoted.
The issue. Condemn.
I don't necessarily agree that he promoted the film, but I guess if we're gonna play with words, he put it on his page. I guess that's considered promotion.
Okay.
Make a $500,000 donation to anti-hate causes. Okay, so they changed it from the ADL to just anti-hate causes, whatever. Sensitivity training, anti-Semitism training, meet with ADL and Jewish leaders, and also meet with the team owner to basically give him a fucking report on everything that you did. To me, that sounds like a fucking kid in high school that got in trouble. Meanwhile, you got a fucking owner who touching on women and calling people niggas whenever the fuck he can, and he ain't had to do none of this shit.
This is that we gonna show you that you ain't got no power. And I think a lot of this with Kyrie has to do with last year he won. When it was about Corona and everything, and he took a stance last year, he won.
So I saw, and I don't know how true this is, so take this with a grain of salt, but I heard that in New York, they are actually hiring people back that they fired during the pandemic as a result of not taking a vaccine. So they were unjustly fired. They're being hired back, and they're getting back pay for the time that they lost. And from my understanding, Kyrie would fall in line, and there's millions of dollars that they owe.
They got to pay him
for not getting the vaccine.
Yes,
it's crazy. At my job, I had to get tested every week, right?
So
you don't have to no more.
But last year he didn't have to do. Last year he said I wasn't doing that. They told him he wasn't gonna play, and he said fine.
He said okay. So the thing now is this is just me being a small time conspiracy theorist, but I'm pretty sure specifically with the owner of the Nets, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we might fuck around and have to pay him the money that we told him we weren't going to give him. We ain't going to make it easy for him. So now we're going to figure out a way to take money out of his pocket this year and not have to give it back.
Mm-hmm.
So you suspended him for 5 games. I'm pretty sure that's
a minimum of 5 games, and now
until he completes this list. So if
he completes the list the day you gave it to him, he still got 5 games. He can't come back.
Right, which I'm sure them 5 games, I'm sure is a couple $1 million, maybe $2-3 million,
definitely,
easily. So you're taking that money out of his pocket while also humiliating him in the public eye. And what bothers me the most about it is when we have guys that are very influential in the NBA, specifically Shaq, LeBron, Charles Barkley, and they publicly condemn Kyrie. Specifically LeBron, which bothered me the most is because when Laura Ingraham come out and said, shut up and dribble, the first person to come to LeBron's defense was Kyrie Irving. And this was at a point where they were trying to pit them two against each other, where they were saying Kyrie just couldn't stand LeBron and all this other shit. But when that lady was talking shit about LeBron, he was the first person to speak up for LeBron. And to see LeBron go on TV and basically condemn Kyrie, I thought that was like, to me, I think there's a way to, and this is another thing too, right? Specifically with Black athletes in power and positions of power, or power that we think we may have, specifically monetarily, they are always worried about trying to protect that, right?
Yep.
So in doing so, you have to be mindful of what you do and say. There's a way to not necessarily condemn Kyrie, but also stay on path with what's going on. Kevin Durant to me did it the best, right? They asked him a question about it. He said that I just want to focus on playing basketball. Everything else will work itself out. I want to focus on playing basketball. I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with, Shaq get on the TV and call the man an idiot. Charles Barkley saying that he should have been suspended, fined, and they talking about they don't even know if he gonna have a career after this. If I'm Kyrie, Shannon Sharp also said something else, and LeBron getting in the media and condemning him. I think that shit is so whack. You know what I mean? Like it specifically within us. Like, why can't we have each other's back? Shit is crazy.
That interview, that guy knew what buck breaking was, Kurt. We
Hell yeah,
gotta
he
be
knew
honest.
what buck breaking was. He knew exactly what the fuck that was.
But if he said he know what it was, then that means that he has to also admit that he understands that that's what they're doing.
That he's participating in the shit. That's all that is.
Basic, and that's what it is. He was trying to they're trying to. I'm trying not to be anti-Semitic with this here, but most of the time, what it is Jewish plight is trying to be levied against what happened with black people. It's like anytime you start talking about your plight as a black person, whatever, a Jewish person is gonna bring up the fact of the Holocaust and how atrocious it was and all this here. And if you have anything negative to say about it, or if you have anything that you want to divert attention,
have anything negative to say about it, you can have something pro-black to say about it. Anything pro-black is considered anti-something else. We talked about that last week too. Anything considered pro-black is considered anti-black to something else. If you look at the title of the movie, and I'm not saying that the movie was right or wrong, whatever the case may be, but it said "Wake Up, Black America." If you don't pull nothing from that, at least take that. At least take that sentence. We can call Kyrie crazy. A lot of the shit that he did and said was a little off the wall, but the man, and this is another thing too, they dehumanize the man in the media, and they don't point out all the good things that he's done. They make it seem like Kyrie is taking money from the NBA because he don't play as much basketball as niggas that sitting at home watching would like to see him play, right? So they won't tell you that he donated damn near $4-5 million to the WNBA to pay their salaries when the pandemic hit. They don't tell you the type of shit. They don't tell you the good shit that Kyrie does, but they want to paint him out to be an idiot and anti-Semitic and all this other bullshit, which I think is not fair.
But it's the same thing we were saying. Talking about Kanye earlier. You know what I'm saying? We don't hear about the things that he does behind the scenes, because if we hear about those things, then
the things that Kyrie's done, they've been publicized. But the problem is, it's almost like a negative story will come out about a person. You'll see a celebrity get locked up, and it may be some bullshit. So once that case gets thrown out, you never hear about the case getting thrown out. All you heard about was the person going to jail. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. They put that blurb out there at the beginning, and once that's gone, it's ran its course. When the bad things come, that news cycle was damn that never ended. That shit gonna keep going. It's gonna keep circling and keep circling.
But that's also because our community don't really want to hear the good shit. We hear it as, oh, he did that. We looking for the bad shit.
I agree 100% with what Kurt said. That's a powerful thing. And if you watch, there's an interview with Derrick Rose, and if you could compare
my expert opinion,
if you could compare Derrick Rose from 2008, 2009 to 2022 Derrick Rose, and granted, obviously he's grown a lot. It's been a long time. He's a grown man now from when he was a kid. You can tell that he found himself. And a lot of the things that he was saying may not add up 100% to what Kyrie was going to, but you can see that a black man found his path and where he was going. You see what I'm saying? That's one thing they don't want us to do. They want us to be lost. They want us to follow in the trends and all the bullshit that's going on. They don't want a black man to be in an understanding of himself. Never.
Yeah.
So I think it's whack, man. I think it's whack. I don't know. I think what I'm bothered. I'm not that. Here's the thing with the ADL, the Jewish community. If that's how you all feel, I can't tell you what you can and can't be outraged about, right? Because the minute somebody says something about black people, we got the right to feel however the fuck we want to feel about it, right? So my whole thing is it's less about them, but it's more so about us not having each other's back. It doesn't make sense to me that his own brothers, his counterpart, his not his counterparts, I'm sorry, his peers, they won't stand up for him in public.
Or the thing about even if it's not today, stand up for him. Just shut the fuck up. Don't condemn him.
I'm with that. I'm maybe not shut up, but don't condemn him. You know what I mean? It's one thing to just say, you know what, I'd rather let that play out, whatever the case may be. Kyrie's my brother. I know his heart, and leave it at that.
But notice we can only condemn the black guy. We go back with Udoka. Evidently, the woman who he did something with, because I'm pretty sure she's not of African descent or not African American.
She was white.
You can't say nothing about her. You can't bring her up. You can't say nothing about the
I don't know if we talked about this last week on Jalen Rose was on national TV, and they were talking that the Nets had just fired Steve Nash, and they were talking about bringing Ime Udoka in as the new coach. He brought up the whole situation about what happened with Ime and him sleeping with the lady or whatever the case may be. And he said, why is it that we still don't know who this woman is? They went to commercial break, came back, and they had his ass sitting up there apologizing. I now understand why this lady's information wasn't put out there. She was a subordinate of his and whatever the fuck. Dismissing the fact that when the report came out, it was consensual, not that he forced himself on this woman. Mm-hmm. So if it was consensual, it doesn't matter what her position in the organization was. She participated in this willingly.
And it's not supposed to happen, right?
Exactly.
So both parties are supposed to be in trouble.
Exactly. And I thought it was bullshit that they made him get on TV and apologize. I think that ESPN is a company that has failed women drastically in the past, and I think they're trying to right their wrongs now, but they're doing it in the wrong way. But
we believe it was BS too.
That's a story that's a topic for another day. But I thought that was bullshit too, and I really hate the fact that they're only doing it to us. It's only us.
Yeah, but then it kills you with it only being us, because the argument that most time you have is like, oh, well, why y'all ain't doing it to this person, or why are they here, the fight to that is, look at your own house. Don't compare yourself, because of course we know life ain't fair. Of course we know that we got to be better than everybody else, but at a time you just get tired of it happening when you don't have the support of your own community. You know what I'm saying? Like when I think we would be okay with them trying to do this to Kyrie if the other blacks in the media and mainstream weren't also hitting them with the whip too. You know what I'm saying? They weren't taking their turns with the whip.
Mm-hmm. Hell no. That's because we are in a protected group. I was talking to one of my buddies, and I'm speaking specifically to Kurt's comment. I was talking to one of my buddies, and it really comes down to the fact that we don't own shit. You know what I mean? We can't, in this instance, we can't take our ball and go home. In this instance, the only thing Kyrie could have done to say, I'm I guess standing on mine is walk away from his career, right? That's the only thing that he could have did, to just be like, fuck that, I'm standing on my own. I'm just going to walk away from basketball. We don't have anything. Every time we go back to this, we've gone back. Every time we've tried to create something that's been taken from us, because they know that there's strength in numbers. Once we get that community, it's fucking to the moon. But I agree, that is bug breaking. We know it. And the problem is the fact that we know it. It's just nothing we can do about it.
Nothing that we want to do about it as a group. Because there is things that we can do about it, and that just means to start taking care of our own community. So
the NBPA, I agree, they are fighting for him now, but I think right at this point it's a little too little. It's too little, too late to me. Don't get me wrong. I think that it shows some form of solidarity there, but that's their job, right? That's the union. That's the players' union, basically. Mm-hmm. So they're supposed to. Rather, that's like a fucking criminal defense attorney. You gonna defend the motherfucker if they murder somebody, and your job is to try to get them off. So I don't think it's one of those things where it's like they decided that, okay, I'm sticking up for him because what he's saying or he was being done unjustly. Is just the fact that this is their job and they have to.
Yeah, because honestly, I think that should have happened. They should have had to go through those appeal processes and stuff before he even was able to get suspended.
You would think, but
and he's suspended without pay. That's supposed to came in before that.
Yep.
You know? But we also have an issue with black people because black people think is he making money. So hey, it ain't hurting my pocket. That's him. He ain't hurt. You know what I'm saying? Black people get a little jealous with that too.
I'm with you. I like CJ McCollum. I like Jaylen Brown. I think both of them gonna do what's right. Don't get me wrong. I think both of them gonna do what's right. But at the end of the day, they just figureheads, really. You know what I mean? Like they just the spokesperson. They the ones that's gonna come out and give you with the press release. They gonna give you the manufactured statement from the motherfuckers in the back. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I think they'll push to make sure that Kyrie is taken care of. But at the end of the day, I don't believe it's not their decision ultimately.
I think what'll get those 6 bullet points removed is more public outrage over the bullet points. I think that's what needs to happen. It needs to be like more things with people, public outrage about it.
The problem with that is there's so much it's so divisive right now, right? Like you got people who feel like you got us that feel like he deserves what he's getting, which I think is
honestly, I don't think the ones in there feel like he deserved I mean, most of the ones who I've heard, their major issue is that he didn't come right out and apologize. So now they're like, he didn't want to come out and apologize. So now that's that organization right to do whatever. But I think behind closed doors, most of them don't believe that he should have to go through this 6, you know what I'm saying, this list of shit that they got him doing. But it's also especially with people in the media, they're trying to protect their brand. They're trying to protect their income and where their bread is buttered at. And I think that's why they jumping on the train and jumping on his back. And instead of just staying out of it, saying, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? He put a comment out. I ain't watched the movie. I ain't really got too much to say about that. I don't think he's anti-Semitic. Let's move on. Let's go to something else. Let's talk about my man who sold that $1 million from them people over there. For that couple $1 million from them people. Let's go talk about that. Let's talk about the woman who white, who want to be black. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about something else here.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and I think also what Kyrie is a victim of in the court of public opinion is the fact that most people don't like him.
Yeah, because he's eccentric. You know what I'm saying? He's a flat earther.
Yeah, and then which I also think is stupid. Here's the thing: people always tell you to be a free thinker, to move to the beat of your own drum, do the things
until that gets away from what the whole group thinks for you.
Exactly. Because right now America is nothing but a groupthink society. If you don't believe or if you're not outraged at the same things that I'm outraged with, something you're anti whatever I'm upset about.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I'm upset. I don't like gray cups. Well, you ask me what's wrong with gray cups, you anti-gray cup now. You know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy to me. Like to me, that just does not make sense. Or you can't be ignorant and just not know. You know what I mean? That now the world expects you to be all knowing. You have to know everything. You cannot ask questions about anything that you aren't familiar with.
Didn't Mel Gibson come out and have a big tirade about Jewish people and something like that?
Hell yeah. They was on his ass for a little bit, but they got off of him. It was right around the time the Passion of the Christ came out. They was on his ass for a minute. But Mel Gibson also has some racist black shit too. Mel Gibson is a very troubled man.
But he survived the storm though.
Yeah.
And the issue is he's in an industry where he can make his own if he needed to. You know what I'm saying? And Kyrie's not in that same position.
Yep.
Yeah. He wasn't 10 years yet.
It's been a minute.
Now he went to straight to DVD releases, you know what I'm saying? He went straight to DVD releases. I think he had a couple things come out with it. So with that, but that's a way that he was able to keep doing what he's doing because he can make his own with that. The biggest thing Kyrie can do is go overseas and play. He can say, screw y'all.
I saw some shit where I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense, but they could kind of push for the big three to be an actual league. And that's something that I think if he got more black athletes to kind of follow suit, because obviously we run the NBA, because that people come to watch the NBA to watch black men run, jump, shoot, and dunk. If Kyrie was to say fuck the NBA, and obviously the money would not be nearly as the same on the onset. But that's one option. You know what I mean? To turn the big three into an actual league I think that's one thing that could have been an out for Kyrie.
Yeah, I mean, he got a couple outs, and none of them is outs that he would want because everybody's who plays ball professionally, they all dream is to play for the NBA. You know what I'm saying? That's saying that you made it. I think he's kind of losing interest in the NBA. I think he's getting to the point where it's like, okay, it's about time for me to get away from this. I think, but we'll see how this plays out with it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think if I'm Kyrie, and I think I've accomplished everything in the NBA that there is to accomplish, short of MVP. He got a championship. Um, God damn it, he didn't All-Star games. He didn't made all the money, like max contracts. Like you did everything that you came to the NBA to do. I mean, what's next?
And I think that's actually what the issue is going on right now, Kurt. Dreams change. His dream was to get to the NBA. He did that, won a championship, and now I think his dream is to be more within his community. And I think that's what's bothering the powers that be in the league. You know what I'm saying? And then I think that's not what people outside of it are seeing for him. They're not giving him the space to say he's trying to grow. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to be more of a help outside of just it being basketball.
That's because his thoughts don't align with societal norms. That's why.
I don't know about this Brittany if she's coming home. I think the bigger issue with Brittany is the fact that what Russia wants for her now is the guy that they're trying to make the trade for. I think he's like
He like a murderer or some shit like that.
He a terrorist, but like he like a bombs expert. He can make a bomb out of a pack of bubblicious or some shit. They saying like it's not it's not a fair trade. It's like trading LeBron for me. You know what I'm saying in basketball. So I mean, with that, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Brittany. Unfortunately, Brittany is really a prisoner of a cold war, so to speak.
Yeah.
She is definitely being unjust. They just moved her to a different detainment facility.
They denied her appeal.
She just lost her appeal. And I've seen multiple stories where people in Russia have gone to jail for less time for murder. So I think that shit is
that's literally, we got an American over here. They got something we want. And the years that, like, even when they sentence her with something to try to say, okay, now let's see what y'all gonna do with the guy we got there, and we're gonna try to even the time out. We just want to make a fair swap. We want to swap her for him. And everybody will be like, hey, I don't know if we want to give you the guy who can blow up everything in the world for her because she can shoot a ball. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to make her being less than a person, but
I think and I also think like it's almost kind of, we speak about it, her situation almost kind of insensitively, right? Because it's like, if she was my cousin, I'm like, hey, get him that motherfucker so she can come home.
Right.
So it's like, for us, it's easy to say, or for them even much, just easy to say, hey, these two don't match up. But it's like, if it was somebody you love, you get them whoever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna let him blow up everything over there.
Over there, right? Don't let him bring his ass back over here. He gonna fucking die. You know what I'm saying? I think it's that simple. We already know.
Right, let him stay where he at.
You know what I'm saying? He can't come back here. To me, I think it's that simple. Give his ass up. Let her come home.
Yeah. I think another thing is, as much as people would hate to say this, if Trump was in office, she wouldn't even be over there.
No.
And that's not me trying to be a Trump supporter.
Trump did say that he would not even be considering trying to work out a swap for her. He said he wouldn't consider that at all.
But my thing is, she would have never got arrested.
No, because he was in Putin's pocket. It wouldn't have been a thing.
It wouldn't have been a thing. She'd touched down over there. Putin would have called him like, hey, your girl coming over here with weed. Trump would be like, all right, cool, send the weed back or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or give us some more. Let her go and play ball. We good. It would have never been an issue. He'd have flew over there himself and put it on his plane and brought her back. I don't think Tom can help her. Tom got a little old, Shaka, and then He got another
Don't
Mission
look like
Impossible.
it, though. That motherfucker still look the same. Goddamn, I don't know. He like the oldest young looking white man I ever seen in my life.
Well, you know, Mission Impossible come out next year. I'm gonna see it.
Man,
So there is no fix for the Kyrie. Hopefully they take away the at least the 6 bullet points. But I don't even know if I would want to go back if they took away the 6 bullet points.
to be quite honest, and this is I was watching I believe it was First Take, and Stephen A was saying that there's been some back and forth going on between Kyrie and Joe Tsai, who is the owner of the Nets. They don't get along. So this was inevitable. They were looking for a reason to hold something over his head. And it goes back to the fact that they've been paying him and they don't feel like they've been getting the bang for that buck. I don't believe in the last, but he's been with them 3.5, 4 years now. He has not played I don't think he's played a season over 45 games or something like that.
Yeah, he ain't played nowhere near close to a complete season.
Yeah, so I think they feel like they've been paying him to kind of,
And the thing is, last year was the only year he was really healthy, and he didn't play because of the COVID rule.
Not true.
So let me ask y'all this.
At the moment of he went on a sabbatical in the middle of the NBA season too.
But he wasn't healthy then.
Okay. I mean, you could say he wasn't. I believe the thing was he wasn't mentally healthy. So I mean, you can say that, but
right.
I mean, people will say that.
What you want to ask us, Nicole?
So is this whole thing with Kyrie team thing or NBA thing? Had he been on another team, you think it'd still be the same thing?
I don't know. It's a team thing. It's not an NBA thing. The NBA has not enforced any punishment. So it's definitely a team thing. I don't know. I do believe that had he been on a team maybe like Miami, I don't think this would be. It would be this.
He'd be playing.
I don't think. I think it's just like I said. I think it just goes back to the fact that him and the owner kind of aren't seeing eye to eye, and they were looking for a reason to kind of hold something over his head.
And it because I think it was the fact that last year they figured he beat them when he sat out. He still had to. They had to cave to him last year. I'm saying they had to cave into him last year, and it was like, okay, guess what? Now we got a little more backing on this here. You're anti-Semitic. The things that you're saying is not something we want to be related to. So now, if he was on a different team, I don't think it would have came. I think if they would have traded him this year or something like that, I don't think it would have been a big issue.
I can tell you this: if he playing for them weak ass Lakers, they would have been like, "Hell no, we need everybody on the court."
Okay, so I mean, we appreciate all y'all coming to watch us. You know, like every week y'all come out. You know, we gonna get up out of here. I'm saying we've been here for a little bit today. You know, and got a little loopy.
See, motherfuckers don't like to hear the truth. They don't like to hear the truth.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get Jay some sensitivity training. Jay might not be here next week. You know what I'm saying? He gets a formal apology out. You know what I'm saying?
Formal apology to the Lakers. He got to donate some money to any LA
LA fan. You know what I'm saying? Because we hurting right now. Any LA fan, we need some support.
Yeah.
And you got to go through what's that? Sympathy training or what it is.
Shit crazy, man.
Whatever it is, but we're gonna move around, y'all. We say it all the time when we talk about one of these subjects. We know what the fix is. It's just trying to get to that point where we can do better as a community. We always say it got to start somewhere. We can't wait for the whole community to start moving. It has to be at least a pocket of people, even one person. Somebody got to start moving in the direction that we need to be going in, and hopefully everybody can jump on and start moving with that person where it doesn't take that long for us to get there. But the conversation is great to have the conversation about it, spark the thoughts, but there has to be some type of action with the conversation. Somebody has to be willing to kind of take those steps and start moving forward to try to change the course of what's going on with our community instead of waiting for somebody else to do it themselves. Hopefully one day we can be that change to come, but we have to see how it goes. I'm saying can't be afraid to make a move.
Before we go, I watched another polarizing figure, Dr. Umar, who came to the defense of Kyrie, which is not surprising at all. But he did speak to Kyrie possibly linking with Kanye if Kanye is sincere in the things that he's saying, to kind of push sort of what you're speaking to, the creation of a Just For Me for lack of a better term.
Okay.
So
I actually think that would be dope. If I don't,
I don't know
I
that
don't
I
know
would
if Kanye can be involved in that. He's too wishy washy. He flip flops a lot in the media, in the public eye. I don't know, like behind doors. He might be a totally different person behind doors, and the stuff he does in the media, it just might be for shock value. It might be to elicit, you know what I'm saying, emotion from
Somebody
people,
said he
whatever.
always been the same. What was it, Jules Santana or one of them rappers? They was like before when he wasn't even nobody. Before he started rapping, he's always been the same arrogant, cocky, flashy, out there, look at me type person. It was like he's the same exact Kanye that he was before he was a billionaire.
he ain't a billionaire no more, boy.
Well,
2 days took 2 billion from 1.5 billion from him like that.
well, if he's always been the same, I don't think he's a person to kind of be involved in that from the jump, because he's the take my ball and go home type person. If we all don't agree with what he's doing.
I definitely agree with that. I also do want to pose this one question to it. Something that I think Black creators should be very wary of moving forward. But it's been stated by Adidas that obviously they own the designs for the Yeezy Yeezy design.
Everything but the slides.
They will continue to sell those designs, but without his name on it. Is that fair? Because the name and the shoe are synonymous. So is he still entitled to a royalty even if they sell the shoe without his name on it? I don't know how that works.
He's not entitled to a royalty if his name is not on it, and if he doesn't own the design.
Okay.
He owns the name, you know what I'm saying? But the thing about it, ain't gonna be no royalty to get. Ain't nobody buying that shoe.
I agree with that, and I think Adidas is gonna fall on that head. Adidas, them cutting ties with them, I believe, lost them. What was it?
Yeah.
It was a huge number. It was billions. It was billions that they lost.
That hurt them more than it hurt him.
Yeah. So
there's nobody buying. Old guys don't buy Adidas.
Adidas does have some collaborations. Like I still like Adidas. Clothing is something that I think they'll always be able to sell. Apparel, shoes. I have a couple pair of Adidas shoes. They still got Pharrell that they do collabs with, and then they still got Jerry Lorenzo, the creator of Fear God to high end.
But I think them shoes actually look like shoes. You have to realize those Kanye, them Yeezys, people were buying them because they were Yeezys. If them shoes would have said Smokes or J's or something like that, there, motherfuckers been talking about how ugly them bitches was.
No, you've never seen Fear God shit either. So if I show you, it's a little off the wall. Not off the wall, but it's just different. You know what I mean? So it's they still have some people in their back pocket. They're not gonna move numbers like Kanye at all. No, I'm not even trying to compare.
Yeah, because ain't nobody trying to go out and get no Pharrells.
They
Ain't nobody trying to go get no Pharrells.
Yeah, well, no, that's not true. The Pharrell NMDs do real good. I got like 3 pair of them. I think I got 4 actually. They do real good. Sneaker in the sneakerhead community, which you might not know nothing about.
Not a thing.
The human races, they do pretty good. That's his line with them, so they do pretty good. But
Adidas says it expects to lose $246 million in profits by canceling the line, plus to distribute Beyonce Ivy Park.
Well, they still got Beyonce too, so yeah, I mean that's also something.
But she don't make shoes. I'm talking about just on the shoes.
She got
shoes.
She got some shoes.
Shoes. It ain't like her thing. It's more apparel. Her stuff is more apparel, but she does have shoes.
I think what the thing with Adidas is they're trying to recop some of the money that they're gonna lose. That's why I think that's why
That's what the thing about it is, because they still have product that they have to.
They still got product.
They can't burn it. They can't lose it. But my thing is, it's already been branded with Yeezy. So how do you change those? What do you do?
No, it's already been branded. They just gonna have to lose that. They can't do nothing with it. They might try to, you know what I'm saying, do some slick shit and backdoor sell it. You know what I'm saying, like just put it out on the street to the because they still got the people who the shoe sellers, the resellers and stuff like that.
So because how would he actually know if these shoes wasn't already in the stores? You know what I mean?
Well,
or that's how they supposed to
already released, right? You know what was already released, so you would know if something that was unreleased hit the market. Okay, they doing this because here's the thing. Foot Locker, which I thought was the dumbest shit. So Foot Locker, there's reseller sites, and one of the biggest reseller sites is called GOAT. Foot Locker owns GOAT. They came out publicly and said they aren't selling any more Yeezy stuff, but all the Yeezy shit was just funneled to fucking GOAT. So they still making money off the shit, just not in the Foot Locker name.
Right. Cherie, what's going on, baby?
What up, stranger? It's been a long time.
And she come in right when we getting ready to leave.
Yep. And sidebar, we're gonna talk Chicago sports. I want to give a big shout out to Justin Fields. He's been balling lately. We've been getting our ass. Well, I don't even say we've been getting our ass kicked, but we've been playing We've been playing a lot better. But he's been balling, and he's been the first player to get Player of the Week off a loss. So I thought that was dope. He getting his flowers.
He been kicking ass, but you know what? It make my little brother seem like a genius. He talking about conspiracy, how the Bears are tanking. They got rid of the whole. He said, they look like the offense gonna be able to score points. So we got to get rid of this damn defense. So we ain't gonna be able to keep up with no defense. And that's exactly what the hell happened. We putting up numbers. We averaging 30 points, and we averaging giving up 35 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
It was like the front office decided they wanted to lose. It's like you ever seen that picture, Major League?
Yeah.
When a girl wanted to sell the team, say, I'm a tank, we're gonna start losing so we can move the team up out of here and the fans won't care. It looks like that's what management trying to do. So, but he been balling. The offense in itself been taking care of business.
Yep.
The line been blocked. I mean, it's we'll talk football all day, you know what I'm saying? So we are gonna move around. Like I say, we appreciate everybody coming out as always. We appreciate y'all opinions. Y'all staying up with us on this Wednesday night. I'm gonna talk to the crew about our days. I've been getting requests for us to go back to Friday nights.
I gotta work Friday night.
Up there it is. Nicole said no.
I specifically worked to make sure I have Wednesdays off.
Boy, you said how she sat back. She was doing something else. All of a sudden, half paying attention. Said Friday night. She said, hell no. I was
doing the what you call it?
What's you call it? Business.
No, what's it called? Like what? When you're having a meeting, I was recording.
You were taking the minutes.
Yeah.
Taking the minutes.
She don't even know what she was doing. I was
right.
I couldn't think of the name.
All right, so as always, y'all check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification. Cherie, hit the notification so you know when it's coming out. Like the page.
Please bring your ass back next week.
Cherie, talking to you.
Yes.
Tanks and Donald. Yeah, tell them, girl, stop. Hey, I got a girl. Okay. That's you trying to have your back there, Nicole.
Huh? I missed it. Y'all don't post when yeah, stop playing. Ain't nobody got time for that.
So, but other than that, we'll see all you guys next week. Anything you need to tell them?
Yeah, just want to say, hey, thank you again. Thank you all for watching live. If you're watching the replay, like, share.
If you're watching the replay, I really want to say thank you for watching the replay again. We appreciate that you took the time to go out and watch this replay for it.
That's right. With that being said, tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all support. Like, share, subscribe. We cannot say that enough. And we'll be back next week.
Catch y'all next week.